The one thing that has stumped every artist since the beginning of time is a blank page. So you finally got up the gumption to try doodling. That's great. You get your pen, your paper, you sit down, you get comfy, and that's where the executive dysfunction sets in. You're staring down that blank page, and you just don't know how to start. Don't get me wrong, doodling is excellent for decision fatigue. There's barely any structure to it. You don't have to have a goal in mind. You just settle into the sensation of drawing. The hardest part of a doodle is the time between the blank page and the first stroke of your pen. And if that's where you're stuck, this video is for you. I'm going to show you 5 endlessly flexible ways to start your doodles. These tricks will open you up to a whole world of unexpectedly delightful drawings that require virtually no planning, especially if you have these 5 building blocks under your belt. First, let's start with the tried and true, squiggles. Are you feeling stressed and looking for a way to take control of the chaos around you? Then you might want to start with a squiggle. The fun part is there's no correct way to do this. Your lines can be dense and wavy, or wide and overlapping, and heck, you can even do this with your eyes closed. It doesn't matter. When you get bored of marking up your page or you start running out of space, then you're left with an assortment of randomly shaped and sized compartments that you can fill with a texture or a color or anything your heart desires. And no 2 finished squiggle drawings are ever the same. Second, you can just start with lines. Are you looking for something a little more ordered? Perhaps with an air of brutalism or a drunk checkerboard, maybe? Then might I suggest you try some straight lines. You can make them with a ruler to keep them perfectly straight, or you can draw these totally free-handed as a way to practice making long and consistent strokes with your pen. The lines can be parallel, intersecting, radiating, or a little bit of everything. When you're done, you're left with a Mondrian-esque DIY coloring page, or the opportunity to draw lots and lots of smaller, shorter lines to fill in and give texture to the boxes that you've created. Though I tend to think this is a fantastic way to try out different color combinations and lean into simple, crisp lines. Third, and perhaps my most favorite, blobs. If you're feeling like you want to completely relinquish control of your pen, I seriously suggest starting with blobs. Blobs are essentially squiggles that form a loop, irregular shapes that form a kind of segmented chaos. I usually try to keep my lines pretty close together, even having one blob invading another blob's personal space. If the lines are chaotic and densely packed enough, at this stage, my eyes can't see the difference between these shapes, can't see which line goes to who. So then the fun part becomes teasing out the shapes one by one and either outlining, connecting, or coloring in to differentiate and appreciate what you've actually drawn. Fourth is starting with tape and using negative space. This is a little bit of an advanced mode because it requires extra supplies in the form of some kind of removable tape. Painter's tape, washi tape, something like that. You start by applying the tape in random slopes and directions across and down the page, stopping just before you think you've gone overboard, or this doodle might be costing you a little bit too much in washi tape. Now, in these open areas, you can outline, squiggle, color individually, whatever feels right. The best part of this method is that at the end, you get the most satisfying peel with these crisp and empty lines in the beautiful segments of your chaotic doodle. Fifth and finally, we've got clusters. This is my go-to method if I'm currently obsessed with drawing a particular shape. Does that ever happen to you? It's like getting a song stuck in your head, but it's really a shape stuck in your fingers. Here we're going to do circles, but you can do flowers, cats, portraits, dresses, anything that feels right. Today we're going to use circles. So start by drawing one circle wherever you want on the page, and then another one somewhere else. Start making more and more, varying the size and distance between the shapes themselves, and perhaps try to create a kind of flow across the page in whatever method feels right to you. Here I'm going for a little bit of a cascading across the page look. For this option, we are probably leaving a lot of white space, either on the inside of the shapes themselves, if you feel like filling the background, or coloring the shapes and leaving the background white. So there we have it. Squiggles, lines, blobs, tape, and clusters. 5 new tools to help you jumpstart your doodling practice. Now that you have these building blocks, you can jump right into making art whenever your fingers are itching to draw. Even if you don't have a final goal in mind, you at least have a place to start. Remember, you have every right to make ugly art. Follow if you want to see me again, and check out the tutorial playlist on my channel for more ideas for how to level up your doodling.